The coffee mug slipped from Dr. Sarah Chen's hand. It shattered against the floor, ceramic shards, dark liquid spreading, but she didn't move. Couldn't move. Her eyes stayed locked on the monitor, on the pattern cascading down the waterfall display. 36 hours without sleep, and for a moment she thought maybe this was it. The hallucinations. The breaking point. But the pattern didn't disappear. Prime numbers. Sequential. Deliberate. Repeating every 43 seconds from a point in space 4.7 light-years away. Her pulse hammered in her throat. 15 years. 15 years scanning dead frequencies in the Atacama Desert, and now. Now something was answering. The timestamp read 3:47 a.m. Sarah's fingers trembled over the keyboard as she cross-referenced the coordinates. No known star. Just empty void between here and Alpha Centauri. Her breath caught when she saw the velocity data. It was moving. Toward Earth. Dr. Chen. She jumped. Miguel stood in the doorway, his face bloodless in the monitor glow. "Tell me you're seeing this too," she whispered. "Tell me I'm not." Dishes 7 through 12. Same signal. His voice cracked. "It's getting stronger. Sarah, it's getting closer." She pulled up the signal strength graph. A 40% increase in 6 minutes. Whatever this thing was, it was accelerating. Not slowing down. Accelerating toward them. Sarah grabbed her phone with shaking hands. 2 rings. Dr. James Okoro answered, groggy and irritated. "Do you have any idea what time?" "We have verified non-terrestrial contact." The words tasted strange in her mouth. "Real. Too real. Approaching Earth. ETA 8 hours. Silence. Then, how strong is? Strong enough that every dish is screaming. James, this isn't a whisper from across the galaxy. This is a broadcast. Like they want us to hear them coming. Jesus Christ." She heard fumbling, a lamp clicking on. "Don't touch anything. Don't respond. Just observe and..." "James." Her stomach twisted. The automated response protocol. It fired at 11:23 last night. The line went dead quiet. "Tell me you're joking." "I wish I was." Sarah stared at the transmission log, at the data packet that had beamed into space before she even knew something was listening. Earth's location. Atmospheric composition. Mathematical constants. A roadmap to humanity. We sent it all. Everything. They know exactly where we are. Lock down the facility. I'm calling the director. His voice had gone flat. Professional. But she heard the fear underneath. "Sarah, what kind of signal is this? Is it a greeting or..." She looked at the pattern again. At the way it pulsed. Urgent. Insistent. Like a warning alarm. "I don't think it's either," she said quietly. "I think it's a countdown." Dawn came fast in the desert, but Sarah barely noticed. The facility had transformed overnight into something from a war film, Humvees blocking every access road, soldiers with rifles at the doors, the distant thump of helicopter rotors. She stood in the observation room, now a makeshift command center, surrounded by scientists who'd flown in from 7 countries. All of them watching the same screens. The same impossible data. General Patricia Harrow appeared beside her, silver hair pulled tight, jaw set like carved stone. Simplified version. 20 seconds. The president's on hold. Sarah pulled up the solar system visualization. 7 red dots pulsed between Mars and Jupiter. Multiple objects. At least 7. They entered our solar system 14 hours ago using some kind of stealth we can't identify. We only detected them when they wanted us to. Speed? 25% light speed. Decelerating now, but still. Sarah swallowed. They'll reach Earth orbit in 4 hours. Harrow's expression didn't change. Weapons capability. At that velocity, they could throw a basketball at us and level a continent. Sarah zoomed in on the lead object. But here's what's strange. The signal they're sending, it's not just communication. It's layered. Visual data, audio patterns, mathematical proofs. And something else. What else? Instructions. We think they're teaching us how to understand them. Why would they? Because they've done this before. Sarah's voice dropped. 3 years ago, Prometheus Industries launched a deep space probe. Experimental ion drive. It transmitted on unusual frequencies to avoid interference. She overlaid the probe's signal pattern with the incoming transmission. They matched perfectly. The probe crashed, Sarah continued. Mariana Trench. 11 kilometers down. We never recovered it. And now. She gestured at the screens. They're coming for it. Miguel burst through the door, tablet clutched white-knuckled. They just changed course. All 7. They're not heading for Earth orbit anymore. The displays updated. The red dots had pivoted, converging on a single point in the Pacific. That's the probe's crash site, Miguel whispered. Sarah felt ice crawl down her spine. They didn't come to meet us. They came to take back what we stole. We didn't steal anything, Harrow said. That probe was ours. Was it? Sarah pulled up classified files, Prometheus Industries black budget projects, DARPA contracts, research divisions with redacted names. What if that probe was carrying something we reverse engineered? Something we found buried somewhere on Earth? Something that belonged to them first? The screens went black. Every monitor. Every display. Simultaneously. Then text appeared. English. Perfect grammar. You have what belongs to US. Sarah's breath stopped. We will descend in 4 hours. Evacuate ocean area 35 degrees north 142 degrees east. Radius 500 kilometers. Do not interfere. This is your only warning. The message cycled through 23 languages, each one flashing faster, more insistent. General Harrow was already on her phone. Get me the chairman. Now. And someone find out what the hell Prometheus Industries put on that probe. But Sarah wasn't listening anymore. She stared at the blank screens, at her own reflection in the dead monitors. 4 hours. 4 hours until first contact. And humanity had already made its first mistake. The USS Ronald Reagan cut through Pacific swells like a blade. Sarah gripped the carrier's railing, watching the sky bleed orange and purple as the sun sank toward the horizon. Fighter jets screamed overhead in tight formation. Submarines prowled somewhere in the black water below. 3 carrier groups. 50 ships. Every weapon system humanity could muster, all trained on empty ocean. It wouldn't matter. She knew that. Everyone knew that. But humans pointed guns when they were scared. It was instinct. Do you think they're actually alien? Dr. Okoro stood beside her, binoculars pressed to his face. Or is this some kind of... I don't know. Chinese tech? Russian? Sarah shook her head. Nothing human moves that fast. And James, the data density in that signal, each pulse contains terabytes. We've been decoding for hours and we're only scratching the surface. What have you found? She hesitated. Blueprints. Molecular structures. Stellar maps. And... her voice dropped. DNA sequences. Not human. But close. Too close. Okoro lowered the binoculars. You think they've been here before? I think maybe they never left. Sarah stared at the darkening water. What if Prometheus found something? Ancient ruins. Buried technology. Proof that we're not the first intelligent species on Earth. And what if they tried to weaponize it? That's. The ocean began to glow. Not bioluminescence. Not natural. 7 points of light ignited beneath the surface, arranged in a perfect heptagon around the probe's coordinates. The water churned, waves radiating outward in geometric patterns that looked wrong, too precise, too mathematical. All aircraft, fall back. The loudspeaker crackled. Submarine fleet reports massive disturbance. Something's rising from the trench floor. Sarah raised her binoculars. They came slowly. Water cascading off surfaces that bent light in impossible ways, not metal, not organic, something in between. The ships were different from each other, flowing geometries that hurt to process, like looking at 4 dimensions compressed into 3. The largest one had to be a kilometer across. Its surface rippled like liquid mercury, shifting through colors that had no names. Smaller craft orbited it in hypnotic patterns, all hovering without sound, without thrust, defying every law of physics Sarah had ever learned. Just that deep, subsonic hum. A frequency she felt in her chest. In her bones. My God, Okoro breathed. The massive ship rotated. A section of its surface peeled open, not mechanically, but like skin parting, and light spilled out. Not white. Not any color humans used. Something between violet and a shade her eyes couldn't quite capture. It made her want to look away and stare simultaneously. A smaller craft emerged. Jet-sized. It descended to the water's surface and passed through without disturbing it, phasing into the ocean like diving through air. 10 minutes of silence. 10 minutes of thousands of sailors watching history rewrite itself. The craft returned carrying something black and angular. Covered in deep-sea sediment. The Prometheus probe, torn from 11 kilometers down like plucking a toy from bathwater. Sarah's heart hammered. That's it. They got what they came for. They'll leave now. But the smaller craft didn't retreat. It docked with the mother ship, and the opening sealed shut. Then all 7 ships began projecting light upward. Not lasers. Something else. The beams intersected in the air, weaving together, constructing a 3-dimensional hologram visible for hundreds of miles. It showed Earth. Blue and green and familiar. Then it showed the probe. Launching. Flying. Crashing. Then it showed something older. Much older. Cities. Magnificent alien cities where now there was only ocean floor, ice, desert. Spacecraft rising and descending. Technology that made human engineering look like cave paintings. And creatures, almost human but not quite, with 2 long limbs and eyes that reflected light strangely. Sarah's breath came shallow and fast. The hologram shifted again. DNA helices, splitting and recombining. Human DNA on one side. Something else on the other, woven into every strand like hidden code. No. The message was impossible. Unthinkable. You exist because we made you. You are not natural. You are designed. You are ours. Sarah felt the deck sway beneath her feet. The implications crashed through her mind like a tsunami. Every human who'd ever lived, engineered. Created. Part of an experiment millions of years old. The hologram faded. The largest ship began to glow brighter, energy building across its surface in branching patterns. Sarah recognized the signature from physics papers she'd read. Space-time distortion. They were preparing to leave. But first, one final message appeared on every screen on Earth. Every phone. Every monitor. Every frequency. Your childhood is ending. You have found your birthright. Now you must decide. Will you join the Makers? Or will you remain children forever? We will return in one cycle of your star. Choose wisely. The ships didn't fly away. They folded. Reality bent around them like water around stones, and then they were just gone, leaving nothing but silence and the smell of ozone. Sarah stood frozen at the railing, staring at empty sky. Beside her, Okoro was crying. "What have we become?" he whispered. Sarah didn't answer. Because she didn't know if humanity had just been given the greatest gift in history. Or a death sentence. 6 months felt like 6 lifetimes. Sarah stood before the United Nations General Assembly, every seat filled, every eye watching her. The screens behind her displayed decoded alien data, technology that could end poverty, disease, death itself. Fusion reactors that ran on seawater. Quantum computers that made current supercomputers look like toys. Ships capable of crossing solar systems. Paradise, handed to humanity on a silver platter. But there were other images too. Weapons. Terrible, elegant weapons. And schematics for something the alien data called population reset protocols. The Maker's term for wiping a species clean and starting over. The question, Sarah said, voice steady despite her racing pulse, isn't whether we can join them. The data proves we're genetically compatible, they built that into us. The question is whether we should. She pulled up the final decoded section. The one that had taken 5 months to translate. The one that kept her awake every night. This is a map. 23 worlds. 23 species they created across the galaxy. She zoomed in on each one. 7 failed. Extinct. Either destroyed themselves or were terminated by the Makers for failing to develop properly. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. 9 succeeded. Joined the Makers. Now they create new species themselves, continuing the cycle. Sarah paused, letting the weight settle. 7 are still in development. Like us. Facing the same choice. But there's more. She pulled up a new image, something the analysts had buried in classified files until Sarah demanded it be shown. The map doesn't just show Maker species. It shows others. Rival factions. Ancient enemies. And if we announce ourselves, if we join this galactic civilization, we inherit their wars, the Secretary General finished quietly. Yes. Sarah looked out at the assembled nations. But if we refuse, if we hide, they made it clear what happens. They'll return in 1 year. And if we're not ready to evolve, to join them. She didn't finish. Didn't need to. Dr. Chen. The Secretary General stood. What is your recommendation? Sarah thought about her grandmother, who'd survived war and famine and always said humanity's fatal flaw was its inability to agree on anything. But looking at this assembly, at every nation gathered for the first time in history with a single purpose. Maybe that flaw was also their strength. I recommend we don't let governments decide. Not scientists. Not military leaders. This choice belongs to every human being on Earth. Sarah's voice grew stronger. We vote. All of us. 7 billion voices. And whatever we decide, extinction, evolution, or something in between, we face it together. The chamber erupted. Shouting. Arguments. Accusations. But Sarah noticed something crucial. No one was leaving. For the first time in recorded history, humanity had to cooperate. Because the alternative was oblivion. The countdown clock read 5 hours 47 minutes and 23 seconds. Sarah stood in the rebuilt Atacama facility, watching seconds tick down to their return. Around her, banks of new technology hummed, fusion reactors built from alien blueprints, quantum arrays, and humanity's first faster-than-light capable ship, sleek and deadly and beautiful in the desert moonlight outside. The vote had been close. 68% to accept. 32% terrified of what acceptance meant. Sarah was terrified too. But she was also tired of being afraid. The clock hit 0. The sky shimmered. Reality bent. 7 ships phased into existence, larger than before, more intricate, their surfaces displaying patterns that Sarah now understood were messages, greetings, warnings all at once. She opened the broadcast channel, her words transmitting to the makers and simultaneously to every human on Earth. "We accept your invitation." Her voice didn't shake. "We will join you. But understand this, we are not your children anymore. We are your partners. And we will forge our own path among the stars." Silence. Long enough that Sarah wondered if she just doomed her species. Then a response came. Not in text. In sound, deep, resonant, almost amused. Unexpected. But acceptable. "Your evolution continues, young makers. Welcome to the infinite." The ships descended. Not as invaders. As teachers. Sarah allowed herself one small smile. Humanity's childhood was over. Their real journey, and their real test, was just beginning. She thought about the decoded data they'd kept classified. The section about what happened to species who joined and then tried to leave. The restrictions. The monitoring. The price of cosmic citizenship. But she didn't mention it. Not now. Not when humanity needed hope. They would learn the cost soon enough. As the alien ships touched down in the desert, casting long shadows in the pre-dawn darkness, Sarah whispered something only she could hear. "God help us. We have no idea what we just agreed to." Above, stars that had watched humanity crawl from caves now watched them reach toward infinity. And in the cold spaces between those stars, something ancient stirred. Something the makers hadn't mentioned. Something that had been waiting for Earth to announce itself. Waiting to see if humanity was worthy prey. Or merely another failed experiment, or perhaps, the beginning.